Hi, everybody. I'm really happy to be here with you. Today, we'll speak about heroes, both in literature and real life. The figure of the hero, the champion, the epic rescuer, the brave one, has always been a key element since the beginning of literature. Think about Beowulf, think about King Arthur, but not just at the beginning. Think about Bilbo Baggins, think about Frodo, think about Harry Potter. So they have always served as an inspiration, I would say, for common people. But now, in a society dominated by media saturation, I would say, moral relativism, and many other things, do we still have heroes? Do we still need heroes? Yes, no, probably. Do our students, that's another key question in my opinion, have figures they admire, they consider heroes? Well, in this lesson, I'll guide you through the pages of English literature to understand how the figure of the hero has changed. I'll try and give you some ideas to work in class with the new edition of LeetUp, but I will include also some extra ideas and some extra activities as well. So I hope you will find it useful. Let's start. Well, to start with, of course, you can ask your students to brainstorm some ideas on the topic if you want to start with a huge topic, heroes. But if you want to create a more engaging lesson, a more engaging activity, you can organize some learning stations. We all know how learning stations work, but I will just quickly explain that to you in case you're not familiar with this activity or with this approach. Well, when we organize learning stations, we basically set desks in class in order to have some stations, okay, as you can see in the picture there. Generally, 5 stations are perfect for a 50-60 minute lesson because each station requires more or less 7 to 10 minutes, okay, generally. And if you have, for example, 25 students, 5 stations are perfect because you have 5 students per station, okay? What do you need? You need desks, of course. You need material, but we're going to speak about materials in a second. And you need countdown, okay, with bell. If you look online, you will certainly find one to give your students the time, okay, the time they need for each station, and to give your student a sign when it's time to change from one station to the other. Students work in small groups, okay, and each time the bell rings, okay, they change. They can autonomously choose the station to start with or the station to go to, okay? And they have different activities in the stations. Here in the picture, you can see some of them. So a digital research, a listening, a reading, or collaborative debate, or whatever you want to give them, okay? I've spoken about material. The material we need for learning stations is, of course, a piece of paper with guiding questions that students can read and answer, of course, and each station, okay, every single student will have the same, of course, a set of questions, so that they know what to do with the material given, because basically in each station they will be provided some material to work on. Of course, you need stations, as I explained before. In this case, you need LeetUp because some of the stations are organized with material taken from the new LeetUp. In this case, you need a dictionary, a computer, or a laptop, or I know it's not possible anymore, but if you have a permission, you can ask them to use their mobile phones, okay? Each and every station, as I said before, focuses on a different ability, on a different skill. That's because while we're giving our students a general overview of the topic we want to deal with, or at the same time we give our students a lot of information about the same topic, in this case heroes, okay, we want them to focus on the different skills, the different abilities, so listening, reading, speaking, and writing, why not, if we have time. So I will give you a brief overview of the 5 stations you can organize, you can have to start a lesson, to start a unit on heroes, past and present heroes. Station one can be the definition of a hero. So you need a dictionary, and students work in small groups. As I said before, 5 students per group is perfect, a perfect number. So students work within the small group and they find the definition of a hero. Of course, if you can use a computer or a laptop, you can ask them to look for the definition online, or you can use a traditional dictionary. And if you use LeTab, on page 40, there's a listening exercise. It's a video extract. You have the QR code, but you can use a laptop as well or a computer. On the topic, what is a hero? Okay, so in station one, students start the process of being familiar, let's say, with the topic heroes, okay, and with the definition. Station number two, in this case, it's a reading and a collaborative debate. Okay, once again, 7 to 10 minutes, page 41, volume 2. You have, page 41, volume 1, there's a typo. You have a reading about heroes. The title is the same of our lesson today. Are heroes a thing of the past? Yes, no, why? And from the pictures, you can see that we have examples taken from real life, contemporary society, so doctors and nurses during COVID pandemics, or important figures in Italy who fought against organized crime. At the end of the reading, at the end of the short article, they have some questions. As you can see, there's an exercise, but as you can see, there's also a gray box. And this gray box is a sort of a debate. They have a collaborative debate within the 5 students of the group. So they need to decide whether we still need heroes or not, whether heroes are a thing of the past or not. So you can ask them at the end of the 7-10 minutes, okay, to make down some notes, because you will have time and you will have the possibility to speak about that later and to share what each group has decided, okay, if we still need heroes or not. Station 3 is a video. There's this beautiful video online, as you can see from the picture. It's called The Hero's Quest or The Hero's Journey. Basically, there's a scholar who found out that every single hero follows the same journey, and the journey is the one you see here on your screen. So basically, from everybody, from Beowulf to Frodo to Harry Potter to Batman to Sherlock Holmes, follows the same journey. There's a status quo, so basically normal life, everyday life. Okay, Beowulf is living his life, or Sherlock Holmes live his normal life before a case, or the same as Frodo in The Lord of the Rings. And at a certain point, there's a call to action. Okay, the call to action is, for example, for Beowulf, the fact that he volunteered to help Rodger fighting Grendel. Or Frodo has another call to action. Harry Potter is the moment he receives the letter and he knows he can go to Hogwarts. Or whatever you want, basically. Sherlock Holmes, he starts working on a case. Batman, the same, basically. Okay, there's something happening and people need his help. So every single hero or superhero follows the same path. Then we have number 2, which is assistance. Assistance, basically, because every single hero, everybody needs a sidekick, needs a friend to help in the journey. So the second step is always assistant. Then we have departure. So there is the actual departure for the special word. The special word might not be a fantastic one, a magic word or whatever. It can just be the very beginning of the adventure. Then, of course, we have trials, we have challenges, we have, in some cases, as you can see, number 6, there's also crisis. So the hero, the protagonist of every single story, faces a moment in which he or she is really in danger, or has to face immense difficulties and immense challenges. But then, facing the difficulties, they reach the ultimate goal, as you say, 7 and 8, okay? Treasure and result. So they see the outcome, they see the result of their efforts, okay, of their work. And it can be the solution of a case for Sherlock Holmes. It can be, for example, fighting and winning against the monster and Grendel's mother for Beowulf. It can be whatever you want. And then there's the return, as you can see, 9, 10, 11, okay? The return to the ordinary world, ordinary life, and to the status quo. And everything has changed. Everything changes after this journey. It's not that the last step, the last stop, so the last status quo is the same of the first. No. What has changed? The world outside, but also the world inside. So this video is a great starting point for students to understand that they are the heroes of their own lives, because we all go through the same journey. When we face something new, for example, for them, it can be the beginning of high school, okay? There's a status quo. They were used to the middle school, classmates, teachers, homework, and whatever. Then there's a call to action. They need to start high school. And high school is different, so it's difficult. They had to go out of their comfort zone, okay? And they have to face real challenges, okay? And then there's the return to the status quo. So we are, according to this video, we are the heroes of our own lives. So our students in this station can empathize with the heroes they're going to learn about, okay? Because we follow the same path, we follow the same journey. And to this video, they can have some questions you prepare to understand the most important passages. Station number 4 can be a focus on different heroes you want to deal with. Okay, epic heroes, for example, Beowulf, or medieval heroes, for example, Robin Hood. And you can use both pictures and infographics. You can use pictures and infographics taken from LeetUp, or you can find something you like online. Last station can be a station on contemporary heroes, because if you remember the very beginning, the title of our lesson is Are Heroes a Thing of the Past? So do we still have heroes? So you can focus on the last station on pictures or short biographies or short videos, you decide, about real people. Important people, for example, Nelson Mandela, everybody knows, more or less, everybody knows his story and the story of the Rainbow Nation, but also, for example, firefighters. So an entire category, firefighters during 9/11 attacks. So they can be considered heroes. Or Sir Nicholas Winton, he's super famous now because there's a movie, One Life, about his life, but he really saved a lot of people during the Second World War, a lot of children. Or the soldiers who participated in the D-Day in Normandy, and they landed in Normandy. So you can choose categories. You can choose doctors and nurses during COVID pandemics. You can choose entire categories, or you can choose individuals who can be considered heroes. And as you can read, you can organize a gallery walk. What's a gallery walk? So basically, you can put the pictures, okay, on the wall with, as I said before, a short biography or some bullet points, okay? And students must walk through the gallery, okay, and must take some notes. At the end of the lesson, with stations, it will take one lesson. It will take 60 minutes, because if you have 5 stations, you have 10 minutes, 7 to 10 minutes per station, and then you need time to arrange and to set up the class at the very beginning and to finish the class. Okay, so it will take one lesson. So if you want, in your next lesson, you can go through the content. So you can ask groups, okay, to share with the rest of the class what they have learned, okay? To do that, you can use a spidergram, you can use graphs, or you simply can ask the students to share orally what they have. You can also ask them to create some posters, but it will take another lesson, so we all know that there's no time for everything. After introducing the topic, you can start with epic heroes if you want to go chronologically, okay, to teach chronologically. And to speak about Beowulf, I find this song, Holding Out for a Hero. It's a soundtrack, you probably know it because it's the soundtrack of Shrek. Okay. You can start with this song because this song, as you can see, it's highlighted there, lists basically all the main qualities of an epic hero. So he's got to be strong, he's going to be fast, he's going to be ready to fight, fresh from the fight, larger than life. So you can listen to the song with your students and you can ask them to list, okay, the qualities of a hero. You can compare then the qualities given by the song with the qualities they think a hero should have. And then you can start um, reading the battle with Grendel, okay, and you can ask them to compare and contrast the qualities of Beowulf, okay, in the passage they're reading, and the qualities of this hero. I need a hero of this hero of the song. Um, in the same way, you can ask them to compare Beowulf's funeral, which is the second extract you have on the new version of Litab, with the funeral of somebody who was considered really important, okay, for a nation. In this case, Queen Elizabeth. In the passage Beowulf's funeral, we read that common people build a huge memorial, okay, so you can focus on memorials. But in the second part of the passage, towards the end of the page, we read about the participants, so the people who actually participated in the funeral. And we have a list of people. So we have the 12 warriors, so the most important soldiers. Then we have common soldiers. We have the leaders of the different tribes. So you can compare this funeral to the funeral of a really important person, in this case, Queen Elizabeth. So who participated? Oh, you can choose the Pope as you want, Pope Francis. Who participated in the funeral? Okay. You can show them a video, you can show them a picture, you can ask them to compare and contrast these two funerals, okay? And they will understand that there are a lot of things that they have in common, that both funerals have in common. Of course, if you concentrate on the funeral, you can speak about Saturn Who. Okay, Saturn Who. If you read up to line 20 of this page, you can then stop and move to page 28 of the book to speak about Saturn Who and the discovery of Saturn Who. You can watch the trailer of the video. You can read, there's a short extract from the book, The Dig. It's the passage in which Basil Brown actually discovers Saturn Who. And you can speak about, once again, the parallelisms, the links between real life and epic heroes. Since we've spoken about all these different things, so memorials, very important people, and funerals, heroes, this can be the good starting point for an interdisciplinary work. Okay, as I said before, you can move to page 28. It's the first picture you see. And you can work with your art history colleague focusing on Saturn Who. There's a beautiful virtual tour online, a virtual tour of the British Museum, the floor where all the treasures from Saturn Who are. And you can work on that. Plus, on page 28 of the book, you have two videos about the two most important objects, so the helmet and the sword. So you can divide students once again in groups, and you can give one group the sword and the other the helmet, and they can understand what was inside the tomb. As I said before, you can watch the trailer of the movie. It's the second picture, but especially you have the possibility to work on contemporary memorials. When you read the passage about Beowulf's funeral, you read that common people build a memorial, a very big memorial that can be seen from far away, from sailors, the text says. So you can concentrate on contemporary memorials. So students can work in small groups. Okay, you can give the title History in Stone, just if you want. And basically, the main goal of this project is, as you can read there, is to become historians in a way, to go and look for memorials, okay, in their towns, okay, their cities, okay, to analyze, to identify the historical, cultural, and artistic significance of the memorials. If they live in a big town, a big city, but also if they live in a small town, okay. So what you can do is basically divide the project into three parts. The first one is a sort of a memorial portfolio. The second one is research and historical context. And the third one is basically the production of something, okay, of a video, of a poster, you decide, okay. At the very beginning, you can ask students to identify three memorials, okay? And for each memorial, they can look for the history, they can look for a picture, and they can create, as you can read there, a memorial portfolio, okay? They must provide in a well-organized digital or not, or printed version, you will choose that, the name and location, when the memorial was built, who or what it commemorates. And in the second part, they will research one, okay? They will choose one of the three memorials and they will dive deeper in the story, in the motivation, in the impact, in the purpose. So they will write, for example, a short description of the material used, the type of memorial, the visual elements. They will provide more than one picture and whatever. The last phase is the making of something, okay? In this case, a video, okay? Students can visit the memorial that they've chosen and they can make a 2-minute video, okay? Mini documentary, okay? To describe the memorial, to speak about the memorial. And no voiceover, so they are part of the video. So you can check the vocabulary you've used, you can check the structures that you've used, that you've taught them, and you would provide them a good feedback, okay. Moving, of course, this project can be used for every single era, okay, or I would say every single hero we're mentioning. Moving to medieval heroes, well, they're different. They're not epic. Sometimes, often they are common people, and they face normal challenges. So think about Geordie. We have this wife asking for mercy. Okay, she's not facing dragons. She's not fighting against monsters, but she's facing a challenge in her life. Okay, Geordie has been sentenced to death, and she's going to London to ask for mercy, okay? Or think about Lord Rundle. He's not facing dragons and monsters, but he is going to die because he was poisoned, okay? Or think about Robin Hood. I put there the part of the ballad you have a focus on in the newly tab with Robin Hood and the Monk, which is the ballad that tells the story of Robin Hood. So what are the many challenges faced by Robin Hood? So as you can see, and as you know, medieval heroes are completely different from epic heroes, but they still resonate with our students. They still have an impact. Probably our students can empathize more with them because they're common people. Okay, think about Lord Rundle. Think about the many protagonists of the ballads we read with them in class. And then we move to contemporary heroes. Okay, a lot of people, especially our students, think that it's almost impossible being a hero now. If you ask this question in class, they will answer that it's impossible. We have no heroes now, and it's impossible to be a hero. A really famous writer, okay, in 1850 thought that America's word, but I would say even our word, okay, had turned unheroic because there was a widespread feeling that the leap, okay, of imagination required to recognize heroes was disappearing at the time and is disappearing now. And as you read in the quotation, he said a hero cannot be a hero unless in a heroic word, okay? So our word is not heroic anymore. But in spite of all that, we still have heroes. There's no agreed definition. Okay, we have a clear definition of a epic hero. We have a clear definition of a superhero, but we have no clear definitions of um, contemporary heroes. Somebody who changes history, so it could be Churchill, but also the soldiers during the First World War, but also the soldiers during D-Day, as we said before, or a person that is regarded as a model, okay, Nelson Mandela, but also Jesse Owens in the Olympics in 1936 in Berlin, but also Queen Elizabeth, okay? So there's no agreed definition, but if you ask your students to dive deeper, okay, in the contemporary world, they will find some figure that can be considered hero, not a traditional one, okay, but a contemporary hero, somebody who can be considered inspiring. And if you want to start this journey uh, that speaks about contemporary heroes, you have a lot of possibilities. You have a lot of great speeches, okay, in great inspirations. The tiny volume you received with lit up the new version, okay, it's brand new, okay, we added a lot of speeches, we added a lot of extra text, we added a lot of things just to give you the possibility to work in class with your students and to give them a sort of a thematic approach instead of a chronological approach, okay. This is just an example. You can use the speech given by King George VI at the beginning of the war. So it's super famous. We also have the movie, so probably our students know it. George VI can be considered a hero for different reasons. And if you watch the movie, you will understand why. Not just political reasons, but also personal reasons. And if you don't know how to work with speeches, you can listen to the podcast we created. It's on Spotify. It's free. It's called Great Speeches. You have 10 different episodes. For each episode, you have a great speech. And with my colleagues and friends, Anna Herzig and Lena Dosche, we tried and give you the some good possibilities, okay, some possibilities on how to work in class with the speech. So you have a short introduction in each episode, a short introduction that tells who, where, when the speech was delivered. Then you have a part of the speech, okay, probably the most important or the most popular, the most famous. And in the last part of the episode of the podcast, you have some ideas, okay, on how to work in class with with the speech, both for language and literature. So if you have no time and you need to concentrate both on language and literature, there you will find some hints, some ideas, okay, to use the speech for both. At the very beginning of Great Inspirations, the tiny booklet you have with you, you have also the so-called percorsi tematici, so a thematic approach. And one of the journeys, okay, is the one about heroes. So you will find some of the things I told you, but also some other titles, movies, slam poetry, songs that you can use to enrich your journey. Um, to conclude, I would say I would like to give you some titles of contemporary novels, because you can concentrate on epic heroes, medieval heroes, soldiers, important political figures. But our students need ordinary people. So our students need to understand that everybody can be a hero of his own life. The idea that is perfectly explained in the video I showed you at the beginning for the learning stations. So ordinary heroes can be found in a lot of contemporary novels, in a lot of contemporary poems. I'm just giving you a couple of titles, okay? But you will find many more online and also in the Silvia's bookshelf, okay, that we have in the Lita box. Every month, I choose with my colleagues and friends, I choose a special book for you, a book that is related to an anniversary, a special event, or something happened in the period. But mainly these books focus on ordinary people so that students can understand that heroes are among us. Okay. And for the books and the bookshelf in Lita box, you will have a short summary. Okay, there is a PDF and also a video generally. You have a short summary, you have the reading levels, and you have also a no prep activity. So, an activity that you can use in class without preparing anything. You just print it out and you use it in class. And generally, these activities are perfect, or they are editable, okay, for different topics, so different periods in history, in the history of literature. So, The Dentist of Auschwitz speaks about an ordinary hero. The protagonist is a student and he studies dentistry, okay? And he's deported to Auschwitz and he manages to bring with him some of the tools he's using at university. So once he arrives at the concentration camp, everybody thinks he's the dentist. So he manages to save his own life and the lives of other people just by acting like a real dentist. One Life is the book I mentioned before the movie. This is the book about the story of Sir Nicholas Swinton, the man who saved so many children during the Second World War. Um, he organized the trains full of children to escape from Nazi occupied Europe. And he found a lot of families in England who welcomed these children and provided food and shelter for them. 11 is the story of Alex, a boy turning 11 on 9/11. And he's an ordinary person, okay, but he has always wanted to be a hero. And unfortunately, that day is his possibility to become a hero, an ordinary hero, because he doesn't do anything special, okay, or extraordinary, but he is the hero of his own story. And also, I would say, for some friends in the neighborhood. The last one is nonfiction. That's not a novel. It's Firehouse, as the story of the firehouse next to this World Trade Center. So the first responders to the terrorist attack on 9/11. And unfortunately, most of them died. So it's nonfiction, and you perfectly have the idea of an entire category being considered a hero, especially on 9/11. We also have ordinary heroes in movies, okay? Um, as usual, you have many movies about ordinary heroes. These are some movies that you can use with different levels. So, for example, The Blind Side is the story of these rugby player, homeless without a family that is adopted by a rich family, okay, who provides him food and shelter and the possibility to become a great star. It's a true story. An easier one, perfect for lower levels, is Cool Runnings. The story of the first, it's a real story, once again, the first Olympic team, Jamaican Olympic team at the Winter Olympics. And of course, they had to face a lot of challenges. Okay, first of all, Jamaica has no winter with no ice. So they had to face that issue, but also some prejudice, unfortunately, and some personal issues as well. The third one is another real story, and it's titled The Courageous Heart of Irena Zendler. Irena Zendler is almost like Sir Nicholas Swinton. She managed to save a lot of lives in the ghetto in Warsaw during the Second World War. Last but not least, The Lives of Others. It's set in East Berlin, when Berlin and Germany were divided into two parts. And it's the story, it's super famous, and it's a great, great movie, in my opinion. It's the story of this Stasi worker who decides at a certain point of his life to save other lives in an extraordinary but extraordinary way, I would say, facing many challenges once again. So once you've dealt with all the heroes you want to speak about, because you can go on for ages, you can use the entire school year speaking about heroes. Once you've finished, you can organize one last cooperative project. Okay, this project shifts the focus from popular historical heroes to local figures, to recognizing local figures who have made significant contributions to the community, to our community. Maybe they're not famous, maybe they're not popular out of the community, but they made significant contributions to the community we belong to. Okay, so to the community of your school, of your town, of your country, of your neighborhood. Okay, and once again, you can divide students into groups, and you can divide the project into 3 phases. Once again, the first phase is basically identification and nomination. So students select, they have a cooperative debate, okay, and they select 4, you decide, some potential nominees, okay, and they write a super short report on the most promising, on the one they think he's the most important for the community. Okay, then they will choose one. You can choose one altogether, or they can choose one autonomously. In the second part, I called it research and documentation. Basically, they can interview, if he or she is still alive, they can interview the chosen one, or they can research, they can find some newspaper articles, they can find some witnesses, they can find some people who met the hero if the hero is dead in this case, and they can come back to class with a better idea of the story and the contributions to the community. Then the third phase, the last one, it's the final proposal and presentation. So you can choose the art of the presentation. So they can make video, they can bring the person to school if the person is alive, they can write an essay, they can write a report, they can prepare a digital poster or a paper poster. So you choose. The final proposal and the presentation is the moment in which the group presents the hero, or yes, the hero, we can call them heroes, the hero who made significant contributions to the community. And this is a great moment, in my opinion, to conclude, to end the unit, okay, on heroes, because our students have the possibility to shift the focus, as I said before, to understand that heroes are not simply there far from our communities on history books or whatever, but heroes are among us. Okay, there are a lot of people who decide to act in an extraordinary way in our everyday lives. So it's a good way, in my opinion, to link the 2 parts. So, okay, literature, poems, and novels, and films or speeches, but we have heroes in our communities, and we can still be heroes of our own lives, as we said before. So I hope this lesson was useful for you to understand how to use the new version of LeetUp and the many possibilities LeetUp gives you. So great inspirations, the booklet you have, great speeches, the podcast series you have on Spotify, but also the LeetUp box that we update every single month with new material. Not only the bookshelf, as I said before, but also no prep materials, so no prep activities you can print out and use in class. And also there's a great, in my opinion, folder about AI, so how to blend AI and literature in class. Our next lessons will be on different topics, as you know, and as you can see, travel writing, Shakespeare, and war poets. So I hope it was useful for you, and goodbye.